Hey, what's up, guys? Jag from Jaggy Sports. I witnessed an awesome debut and another game under his belt as a 76er. That's James Harden. Before I get into that, hit subscribe, like, and notification, and we'll get right into it. Are the 76ers, is it too early to tell, but are the 76ers legitimate title contenders? That's what I want to know, because honestly, for anyone who missed the game against the Knicks, especially the Knicks, I loved how he got that triple-double. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. But he got that triple-double, and it's just he's playing at a phenomenal level. So tell me, before I get into this clip, tell me, are the 76ers title contenders? You tell me.
That may be a burgeoning juggernaut. Ooh. So how about the new look Sixers? So the Philadelphia Inquirer, they cleverly went with Madison Square Harden. I see you getting your New York Post on after the performance that we're about to show you, because after Harden, he struggled pregame with some chairs there. He and Embiid, they did work against the Knicks. A 125-109 win. That's thanks to a cool 37 points from Embiid on a career-high 23 free throws. Yes, you heard that correctly. And Harden was masterful, dropping 29 points, 16 dimes, and 10 boards for Philly, who are a perfect 2-0 since he was activated. Here are both of them following the win.
Unstoppable. Man, what are you really going to do? He's a great passer, and obviously I got someone that attracts a lot of attention to. So you got to make a decision. Do you stay on me, or do you stay on them? I'm happy I don't have to post up every single possession. So it's great.
We're overly confident, with the group that we have. I'm looking forward to Wednesday, man. Tonight felt like we was in Philly, but the crowd gonna be turned in there, and I'm ready for it.
So James Harden is the only player in NBA history with 25 points and 10 assists in each of his first 2 games with a new team. And now he's done it twice. This season with the Sixers, and then last season with the Nets.
Yeah, but in NBA history, let's also say most time, like, guys in their prime that are MVP caliber players don't switch teams 2 times in 2 seasons.
That's
so
fair.
Yeah, that's a cool stat, but there's also
so pump the brakes. All right. Well then, Richard, let's break down the why behind James Harden's success in Philly. What have you noticed on the court that tells you that they can maybe maintain what they've been doing?
Okay, let's go to the tape, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about 2 of the baddest men in basketball and what they're able to do. Watch this pick and roll here. Watch how quickly Joel Embiid, it's not just rolling, it's how fast you roll. And that puts Julius Randle in such a tough spot, because he's having to guard Tobias and having to make a decision on Embiid. He gets frozen. And at that point in time, there's nothing you can do. You have to be on top of it. Then here, again, watch Joel Embiid, and this pass is amazing. They talk about being able to throw it over that first line of defense, right over Cat. D'Angelo Russell, Byron Russell, any Russell. Ain't nobody gonna stop Joel Embiid that close, trust me. Then here again, watch this. He draws so much, and for me, this is key, because Tyrese Maxey had the ball in his hands. He was developing into a point guard, and so now his ability to knock down, just catch and shoot jumpers, that is going to be a huge thing, especially with no Seth Curry. So his ability to knock down spot-up jumpers versus having the ball in his hands, that was my one question for Tyrese Maxey, and he's been playing outstanding since this trade.
Well, they've still gotten the others going, but thank you for that, Richard. That
I got
very informative. All right, Ramona, let's get to you now. Richard, that
I got
very informative. All right, Ramona, let's get to you now. This has been quite the pairing. Why are they the perfect fit, if you will?
Well, I spoke to Daryl Morey, who's the president of basketball operations for the Sixers, after James Harden's debut on Friday. And he said, James has always wanted to play with Joel. Even when James was in Houston, he would say to Daryl Morey, like, that guy, I want to play with that guy. And a lot of it was he respected how good Joel was at stopping him defensively. Not many people can stop James Harden at that point. But Daryl Morey called him a basketball genius who has always thought this pairing with Joel Embiid would be like the perfect fit. Now, we've all sat up here and found the reasons why it may not be a perfect fit, but I'm seeing them do things that I've never seen them do. James Harden is catching and shooting 3-pointers. He's playing off the ball. Joel Embiid is he's diving to the hoop
quickly.
They're doing dribble handoffs. I haven't seen them do it. And when I talked to Embiid after the game on Friday, he said, we're not even good yet. Like, there's so many things that we can even get better at.
Yeah, well, James Harden, I know he'd coined scary hours for Brooklyn, and Joel Embiid told me, well, maybe we're going to be scary minutes. I don't even know if there's an appropriate moniker for what we're seeing so far. We'll see the Sixers again next Wednesday as a part.
You keep bringing up Ben Simmons. When is he gonna play?
Okay, wait a minute, Perk. Okay, let's take the Nets out of the equation. You don't think at all that this is a little bit of a honeymoon phase and everything is everything, considering the caliber of teams that they just beat? Because you got to acknowledge, Perk, it's going to get tougher, and that's when the rubber hits the road.
Monica, let me say something. This is the first time in a long time that we have seen a guard this talented, a guard, and a big this talented come together. And the last time this happened, they won a championship. That was Kobe and Shaq. Like, listen, when you're able to get a skilled center that's unstoppable and a guard at the perimeter that's unstoppable, and you can't stop them from getting to the free throw line, this is not just going to happen to Minnesota or New York. This is going to happen to everybody.
KP, hey, hold on a second. Let's take your examples. Shaq and Kobe won 3 straight. They also got annihilated by, hold on, let me finish. They also got annihilated by San Antonio one year. We look at you guys in Boston. You won the title in 2008. Although injuries had a lot to do with it, and I think you being hurt had a lot to do with it, you ultimately lost in 2010. There are teams with greatness, particularly from the guard spot and the big man spot, who have lost. Magic and Kareem have lost. I mean, it happens. All I'm trying to say to you is this. You took a 2-game sample against one team in Minnesota who's very respectable, another team with the New York Knicks, who I got a lot of people there that I love, but I'm not even talking to them right now because I'm so damn disgusted with what I'm saying from them, okay? Losing 9 of their last 10. Don't even get me started on them damn Knicks. I'm just pissed off. But the point that I'm making is, no matter how great, and we know that James Harden is great, Joel Embiid is great, neither have won a championship yet. Championship experience comes into the equation. Right. You said they gonna win the champ.
You did take a big jump, Perk.
Last word here, Perk, and then we got to roll. Perk,
don't run
close it out.
We'll be back. We'll be back. Yeah, I'll be back, Mr. T. I'll be back. That's fine. I'll be back. Ain't nobody scared of you.
I like your change, Perk. All right. Guys, we got to leave it there. The Nets still have the best odds to win the East, followed by the Bucks and then the Sixers. Monica and Perk will be back.
Opposite end of the spectrum. Let's go from the west to the east. Let's go from the worst to the best. Boy, did the Sixers look good. Game number 2, it was Harden at the Garden, and he and Joel Embiid just look unstoppable. Take a look at this. Julius Randle, well, you know he's going left, and Harden knows that. And so, but look at him give it up here. Look at that, just running the floor and rewarding the big fella with the no-look dish for Joel Embiid, who looked like he was having as much fun as anyone you will ever see. Take another look here. Harden, this is what he does so well. James Harden had it all going. He became the first Sixers player with 15 points and 10 assists and a half since Allen Iverson in 2006. Pocket pass there, just unstoppable. Great teamwork from the Stars. Second half, and this was a game into the third quarter. The Knicks sort of hung in there, but they're not going to stop these guys. Throwing it up and throwing it down. Joel Embiid would go for 37 points and 9 rebounds. Harden, just a monster on the stat sheet. 29 points, 16 assists, 10 boards. Sixers in dominant fashion, 2-0 with a flourish since they made the trade. And afterwards, Embiid energized.
Unstoppable. Man, what are you really going to do? He's a great passer, and obviously I got someone that attracts a lot of attention to. So you got to make a decision. Do you stay on me or do you stay on them?
I mean, he's sort of spelling it out right there. And it might sound oversimplified, but it really does feel like this 2-man game is unstoppable. Let's take a look at a little tape, Timmy.
Yeah, these are two guys that can win every single matchup that's in front of them, and it's the most potent offensive duo we have in the league, and they can physically overwhelm you, and a lot of it revolves around James Harden's ability to make plays off pick and roll. And here, I love this set. You get a little ball screen, brush screen initially to get the defender trailing Harden. You draw three. Now, what pass are you going to make? When the guys are connected to shooters on either side of the floor, you've got Embiid rolling to the rim. Take a look at this. Mitchell Robinson, great job, gets up in the air, so you can't throw a lob. What's left? A pocket pass. So James Harden has the ability to make any pass in a situation. Here's another one. Don't give it to him too early. If you throw it here to Embiid, one of those backline defenders can slide over, potentially take a charge. So he's the master of the late find. He does not give the basketball up until he absolutely has committed multiple defenders to him as a scorer, and it makes the game easier for the recipient of the pass. And he throws those pocket passes, Greeny, with that little bit of English on the ball. That's not for show. He does that so when the ball hits the ground, it actually deadens so it's softer to catch. And that's important for a 7-1 guy rolling to the rim. So James Harden has everything at his disposal offensively. We know that. And now you're paired up with a guy that was playing the most dominant offensive basketball in the league over the last couple of months. The ceiling for this team is unlimited. The question is just going to be, can they manage the pressure situations? Because they have had issues in the past, not just Harden, but also Embiid in playoff series. Doc Rivers has had some issues with blowing leads in series of teams he has coached. So that's the only thing really remaining to be questioned. They've got enough shooting. I think they've got enough complementary parts with Maxey and Tobias Harris. This is the most dominant duo we have. Question's going to be, can they navigate the pressure of a postseason when they're expected to win series? But certainly the first two games, you can't ask for a more seamless transition to a new era than the Sixers have just shown us the last two games.
So there you have it. You know what I mean? Like 76ers, they're playing at a phenomenal pace. And the duo the chemistry between those two is unreal. And I know it's only 2 games. It's way too early to tell. And at the end of the day, it's kind of like, we'll see. But I want to point out that Ben Simmons will not play on March 10th. I'll get into that later. But tell me what you guys think. Is the duo between James Harden and Embiid, and of course Maxey ended up getting 28 points on James Harden's debut, 16 assists last night. So you tell me, is the duo between those two individuals enough for 76ers to become title contenders? Because they're playing like really good basketball, and this is what I want to see. This is what I wanted to see. I wanted to see Philly go, get rid of Ben Simmons because he wasn't doing anything for you, and get James Harden. I love that trade. I just wish they didn't give up Andre Drummond because they need a big time backup center. But are the 76ers title contenders? They could possibly go to the finals, 100%. But then again, the Nets are standing their way, the Bucks, the Heat. So I need you guys' opinion. Tell me what you think. Are the 76ers title contenders? Jag from Jaggy Sports.